What's up, my know-it-alls? Well, it's definitely a brand new episode of Rick and Morty has come down the pipeline, and we are going to talk about it. But before we get into all that, do me a big favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel. It helps us grow in the algorithm and lets everyone know that you want to be part of the know-it-all nation. Now, without further ado, let's get into this very therapeutic episode. The president summons Rick requesting he infiltrate Virginia under suspicion that the entire population's joined a cult. However, the president also mandates Rick work with a special team which includes his therapist, Dr. Wong. Leading Rick to suspect the president wants to date her, when the president and Rick enter Virginia, they discover the entire state has been taken over by Unity. Rick attempts to expel Unity due to their violating her promise to stay away from Earth, but Unity explains that she heard Rick is searching for Rick Prime again and is worried about him. The president then activates a barrier dome that closes off Virginia, cutting off its population from Unity. Rick, the president, and Unity get into an argument before Unity agrees to leave, but warns them that until they're cured, Virginia is still susceptible to falling under the control of another Hive mind. Rick takes his leave and Dr. Wong breaks up with the president, citing he needs to overcome his obsession for everybody's approval. The president finally cracks down under the pressure and hijacks the Virginia Hive mind for himself, disabling the barrier and spreading it to the infection across the world to fulfill his desire for 100% approval ratings. With no other choice, Rick enlists Dr. Wong's aid to convince Unity to stop the president. Unity agrees to help and removes all of the infected humans from the Hive mind, and life on Earth returns to normal. Rick and the president later have beers together, and the president considers getting therapy. I did the recap like that because I have a lot to talk about. So, and I apologize up front if this gets a little too therapeutic, but this episode did some things for me. I have always jokingly said that I'm a recovering narcissist, but the truth is that's exactly what I am. And I think it's one of the reasons why these episodes of late, last season and whatnot, and kind of seeing Rick's journey has resonated with me in such a hardcore way because I feel him. I feel him in a way that I don't think I'll ever properly be able to put into words. You get to a place where you begin to realize through the different shocks and different things, traumas that you have, through the wreckage that you leave behind you, you start to realize that you have to get healthy. You can't keep up like this. You can't keep being the wrecking ball in people's lives. And so ultimately what happens is you begin to dedicate yourself to getting better. And then on that journey, in this case, Rick finds himself in the scenario where he's becoming healthy again. We've been able to tell that. And it's funny, it sort of fits in with the idea that Justin Roiland's no longer voicing the main character. Now that Ian Cordani's on the job, and by the way, Ian Cordani and Harry Belden both being in the credits, thought that was awesome. And maybe they were last week, I just missed it. So Rick, you cross paths with people from the past. It kind of started in the first episode with Bird Person and all those guys, sort of kind of coming back to a status quo of some kind, but realizing that it was sort of just a bender of some sort. But then you come to this episode and you get that moment where you encounter exes.
Rick? Unity.
I can explain. Just let me get things under control.
You controlling things is the explanation, and we agreed you wouldn't do it where I work.
And they don't recognize you, or they take issue with the journey you're on. You end up having to pick up the pieces because of certain stuff. So, anyways, it was a much deeper episode than I was expecting from a 22-minute adult cartoon on primetime. And so it's one of those times you just kind of go, I feel attacked, man. But anyway, so yeah, it was, so let's get into the actual episode though. Now, thank you, by the way, for my little therapy session. It feels very on point for this episode. Rick is sitting here and I love the way he's literally like, when the president's like, oh, he gets to meet Dr. Wong and whatnot. And Rick's literally like,
you can't date my shrink.
What? Bro, you're not.
And don't date my shrink.
I'm not dating your shrink.
Also, don't tell me there's not commentary going on right now about the culture and this desire every single politician has to be loved and wanted. And you want to sit here and go, stop being such a jerk then.
This president has been in office for how many alien invasions? Then he sees Virginia with its perfect economy and synchronized lawn mowing, so he shoots them and puts them in a dome?
Classic.
Will someone mute the news?
Regardless of whatever side you live on, whether it's right or left, at the end of the day, you want to sit here and say, bro, just do your job. just do the thing that we elected you to do. How about that? And then I think it's so funny the team that Rick the president rather put together, and then Rick's literally like, as he's like, as he's talking him through everything, and then at one point he's like,
Yeah, but there's something missing. A psychology expert, perhaps.
Oh, me. You pretended to need a crack team so you could get Wong's number?
It's great. Susan Sarandon, of course, returns as the voice of Dr. Wong. I love this entire episode. It's the show. I'm really liking where the show's going, and I feel like they're gonna find legs here. They're gonna find legs here because you have the opportunity to do relapse episodes. If you treat Rick Sanchez's setup as what it is, which is essentially an unhealthy narcissistic journey through all the different stuff to getting him back to being the way he is. Because right now, they're focusing on Rick. They're not focusing on anybody else. Literally, you see Morty for like a split second. You see Summer briefly for a moment.
You okay?
Yes.
The news said Virginia was a hive mind.
Yes.
Was it?
Yes.
Oh my God, dude, whatever. When's the last time you saw your therapist?
Today.
Well, stop yelling at me!
I need boundaries.
Well, here's a big one!
Yeah, it's that whole thing where someone's checking in on you, like, hey, how you doing? And I was like, oh God. Again, the whole episode I have feels about. But yeah, there you go. Now you know. And if knowing's half the battle, you have way to being a know-it-all yourself. What's an all index for this episode for me? I thought it was a solid 8. I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was an 8 for me. It resonated. It spoke to me. Whether you deal with substance abuse or are a survivor of someone who deals with substance abuse, I think you're going to enjoy this episode because it takes a very comedic approach at several things while still not just lampooning those things, but also actually taking an opportunity to walk you through them and explain some things. I liked it. I liked the episode. So comment below. I'd love to know your thoughts on the episode. Do you share my not aversion, but a history of therapy of some sort, and do you see the comedic points of it? If you don't, you'll still see the comedic points of it. No matter what, we have to be able to laugh at ourselves. So, all right, guys, I'll talk to you very, very soon. Never forget, everyone loves a know-it-all.